I remember stopping at a gas station several years ago to buy a battery, and no men were on the compound. Zero. The manager, the cashier in the store, the janitor, and the pump attendants were all women. There were no men in sight. Apparently, they were not needed. Today, more and more jobs that have traditionally belonged to men are now being taken by women. As a child, I do not recall seeing female bus drivers or security guards. Not anymore. I also see more female cops patrolling our streets. But why? Our men, for some reason, are becoming less and less qualified. Our colleges and universities are full of women. The first medical school class at the University of the West Indies had only 2 or 3 women. When I attended medical school in the 80s, the ratio was basically half male, half female. Today, the vast majority of medical students, over 70%, are female. Same for the Faculty of Law. As a matter of fact, today our Attorney General, Public Prosecutor, and the Public Defender are all women. Also, Jamaica has the highest ratio of female bosses. So, where are the men? That is a good question. A question many lonely single women are also asking. I have no issue with women being in charge. As a matter of fact, I am all for women's empowerment. I respect and admire strong and independent women. But the fact remains that our men need to step up. Our boys need them to be appropriate role models so they can look up to them and emulate them. It is this void that has caused a shift in women taking on jobs in male-dominated fields, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but is definitely cause for concern. In the meantime, I applaud the women who are hardworking and determined and working their butts off. Big up on yourselves. And to all the hardworking men who continue to inspire our boys, big up on yourselves too. But for those men who are slackers, do the rest of us a favor and step up.
Where are the men? Like, it's a very, very good question. In fact, it kind of begs the question, are women having to step up and step into these non-traditional roles because the men are not doing it?
No, I don't think so. I just think that women are taking on new roles because that's what they want to do. And they should be allowed to do it as long as you are able and capable. Why not?
Right.
Why should you be relegated to a particular role or job or function just because you're a woman?
Right.
And you shouldn't really be getting roles just because you're a woman either. You know, it really should come back to competence. Can you do it? If you can, then why not?
Right.
On the question of the men and where are the men, I think there are still good, strong, useful and capable and progressive men out there. I don't think that they are missing. We may, I mean, you hear stories, anecdotal stories, you know, people can't find a partner because you don't have a lot of eligible options, but I think men are still around.
So what are some of those non-traditional jobs? You know, what are the things that previously or traditionally it was considered a man's job and now women are doing it too?
Well, usually things in law enforcement were predominantly reserved for men. In the clergy, in many denominations, like firefighters, there's truck drivers,
construction
you know,
workers.
usually dirty work, things that require a little more brawn,
Right.
usually find that men normally dominate in those roles.
And
but
even some of the fields where we've talked about when we're talking about these women that are doing amazing things, like in stem cell research or physics or those types of things, women are excelling when previously they thought that, you know, it wasn't their place.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, I mean, if a woman decides that she wants a traditional role, like say a nurse, which more women do, then by all means, why shouldn't she be a nurse?
Right,
Whether
absolutely.
it's traditional or non-traditional, you should be allowed to pursue your passion and your purpose.
You know, I really want to contribute to this conversation, but I'm just stuck at Dr. Abrams talking about lonely single women. I don't know why the constant attack and why the sense that we're lonely. I think we should dedicate a show, a segment of the show, where we talk about lonely married women. Women who have their husbands, in their homes and they're still very lonely because their husbands or their spouses are not paying them any attention.
So why you feel like
Oink, oink.
No,
Yeah, because we sure him never said tie.
Right.
Oink, oink.
So why you feel like
because
he's
generally people say
attacking?
that when somebody's single, there is always this thing about being lonely, and a lot of times people are not. Maybe he meant no arm.
Or a leg.
Or thigh.
So Ty, you're not lonely?
No, because I was honestly annoyed at him for talking about lonely single women, because we don't know why I'm not talking about the lonely married woman
say that?
But because that's not the topic and he annoys me. Why don't I always text them on single women about them lonely? Look how much women have them husband in them bed and still lonely. By the way, I'm not single. And I just get offended about this.
Yeah, because if that's the case, that's not to do with you. Me don't know how we reach here.
I get offended. I feel it for people.
So you don't think, as Dr. Abrams says, that the men need to step up then?
We just try to bring it back to what we were discussing, Ty. Like, I don't even know how to bring it back here.
I don't necessarily think that they've stepped down. I just think that more women are doing things that they didn't normally do. So you're seeing this increase in women and you're assuming, well, maybe... I don't know. I'm not even know my talk to write, so no, I think we'll have cut.
We are gonna take a break. It's a woman's world, and we can do that. And as you can see, we can just move from one topic to another, which I guess is why they don't want us in certain roles anyway, because they say we're all over the place. But it's all right because it's a woman's world, and we'll be right back.
Tired.
I don't know.
I'm bold and beautiful.